My friends, I believe that leadership is not a question of birth. It is a question of dedication. Here we have a great example, Farah Iqbal. Imagine 21 years old, almost an adolescent. But you cannot know how important she is for the world and for her country. Her leadership is because the integration of her feelings with the needs of her country. And she works for helping distressed women, to provide shelter and home to the victims of domestic violence. I am very happy. It is a great honor to introduce this young leader, Farah Iqbal.
Good afternoon, one young world. So what is a good leader? Good leaders think in broader perspectives and cultivate innovative ideas into a desired common outcome with the efforts of their team. They're somewhat like good doctors, right? They must diagnose the patient accurately to ensure the effectiveness of the prescribed drug and also be able to identify the problem to come up with effective solutions. So the larger fundamental question now is, what is leadership? The term tends to get thrown around a lot, doesn't it? But every society has its own answer. My society believes it has the perfect answer, and that is not to be a girl. What do leaders do which make them leaders? Don't be a girl. What are the qualities of a good leader? Don't be a woman. The unfortunate thing is that sometimes these people don't realize that being the girl is just the answer. It's much like what the famous... It's much like what the famous writer Eve Ensler once said, we must learn to embrace the girl within us in order to succeed in life. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main driving force of not only my speech today, but my life as a whole. I come from Bangladesh, a nation that still has a very restrictive society in many aspects concerning women and their participation in society. Leadership roles are almost always slightly out of the reach for women. However, I still believe that women should get leadership roles based on merit rather than gender. Because leadership is not being about a man or a woman, but rather it's about one's sense of responsibility, it's about developing people, the public sphere, and working to make your nation strong, independent, and free from aid. With this, I begin my story, how the girl within me inspired me to work for Bangladesh, where leadership is indeed present, but whether or not it is effective, influential, and exercised by suitable authorities remains open to debate. Let me start with a brief introduction about Bangladesh. It is a home to 165 million people, possibly the most densely populated country in the world, with a very bureaucratic government system. It has a huge income disparity, leaving more than 49% of the country's people to try to survive below the poverty threshold. Being a girl from the underdeveloped nation and trying to give back to society is harder given the above circumstances. Yet an amazing social worker, who also takes the form as my mother, decided she would like to open a home for the women who were trafficked cross borders, sold into prostitution, raped, divorced, or have been dismissed from their parents' house on the grounds of dishonoring their family name. I felt strongly for the cause, and I realized that we had little money to contribute to this shelter home. I created pamphlets and leaflets for different corporate houses explaining what the lives of these women are like and how we intend to reintroduce them back into society by providing in-house training that helps them get back to a healthy, normal life. Let me tell you, going from door to door and persuading people to donate for these women was not an easy job. I keep getting the question, how would that benefit my company in return? We finally managed to convince a large conglomerate to provide us with their products and help us in kind rather than cash, so they don't feel like we have a profit motive. For years, all the energy I had went to that shelter home, whether it was being a companion for the distressed, women helping in the kitchen, or just simply talking and trying to help them realize that there is no fault in being a girl. A little bird once told us that it is our duty to teach women to embrace the girl within them. And with that knowledge and vigor, the shelter home now has become a project under an NGO, giving it a little bit more standing. This served to be a reminder to me that although it's not much, it has support of some sort only because of dedication. Emotion is what distinguishes one leader from another. I believe it's the emotion in me that made me see what the youth in Bangladesh are heading towards. Bangladesh Youth Leadership Center, or more commonly known as BYLC, is dedicated to grooming future leaders. Through intense group work and community service, it brings together the youth of 3 different streams of education. They're taught to be proactive citizens and engage with people of different variety to understand their needs, ideas, and opinions better. I'm an active member of this organization, and I'm very involved in this program and have been able to identify some key problems. In Bangladesh, wealth and power go hand in hand to the point that it has become an open secret for the past 10 years or so, a lot of our potential future leaders are dangerously caught in the drug scene. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the girl in me that inspires me to fight the drug abuse among the budding leaders of Bangladesh. I'd like to end my story with the story of a Rohingya girl who was trafficked and sold into Bangladesh. Rohingya are Burmese refugees who are a very controversial group of people, as the Bangladesh government is being pressured by Western nations to open up their borders to them. She was deceived from home, taken across the waters to Bangladesh, and sold into prostitution. She was rescued by a journalist and was brought to us. We taught her to sew, to cook, to be a strong person, to be a good human being, and taught her to be proud to be a girl. This girl, a victim of pimps, rapists, is now happily married and working as one of the most popular seamstresses in Bangladesh. This was possible because leadership's finest attribute transcended age, class, social distinction, and gender. Leadership is about responsibility and influence, nothing more and nothing less. However, the right sort of leadership is not always available. Given the right nurturing, every man, woman, girl, child of my nation of 165 million is a leader in his or her own right. Thank you.